Chairman Kanjorski, much of the blame of the recent economic turmoil is centered on the belief that a lack of regulation was the root cause of the excessive risks and residual effects that followed, whereas there was a great deal of regulation in the banking sector. It was our most regulated sector. I think that Congressman Richard Baker was the first to really point out at great length the enormous over-leveraging that was occurring in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, as did the Federal Reserve, and the systemic risk they posed to the system. But I think it is worth noting that while hedge funds and private pools of capital have experienced significant losses, they have not asked for or received any direct government bailouts in an era where the government has become savior of all things failed. The losses borne by hedge funds and their investors did not pose a threat to our capital markets or the financial system. A major reason why this was the case was because of the general lack of leverage within the hedge fund sector. Thus far, it appears counterparty risk management, which places the responsibility for monitoring risk on the private market participants who have the incentives and capacity to monitor the risks taken by hedge funds, has held up well. Considering so many of our major, heavily regulated financial institutions acted recklessly, drove up their leverage ratios to unstable levels, suffered significant losses on failed investments, then came to the American taxpayers for assistance, the performance of these private pools of capital over that same period is reassuring. I must also note my concern with adding additional responsibilities to the SEC given their recent handling of the Bernie Madoff incident and what looks like a similar misstep in the handling of Alan Stafford's firm. The few hearings on the Madoff Ponzi scheme revealed an over-lawyered, overly bureaucratic SEC. As former SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins recently noted, if hedge funds and private equity firms are forced to register with the SEC, the burden to the agency's examiners would be enormous. I think it would be wise to first address the problems within the SEC and then discuss adding new responsibilities onto the agency. And I'd like to thank the panel of witnesses for coming here today, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.